Hi there, David here, and in this video I want to share with you my sound design workflow for creating almost any kind of sound effect. If you're a sound designer and your sounds feel kind of bland or boring, or they just feel like they're missing something to make them sound way better, then this process might just help you get there. All right, so with that said, let's just get right into it. All right, number one is to mentally break down your sound effect into possible layers. All right, so let's say, for example, that you want to create a punch sound effect. Here are some possible layers that you might want or need for your sound. Number one is you might want some skin-to-skin like punch sounds. Number two, you might want to have some sort of clothing sounds, like let's say you're punching on clothes. Three, maybe you want some bones crunching sounds. Four, maybe some gore if it's a gory kind of punch or something. Number five, maybe you want some sub, like a sub hit if it's a really big or impactful hit. Number six, you might want some whooshes for like the arm or the movement of the arm for the punch. And maybe finally, number seven, maybe you want some sort of sweetener sounds. So these could just be added sound or layers like kicks or something like that to make the sound just punch a little bit more. All right, so with that done now that we have our 7 possible layers that we could use, what I would do now is create 7 different folders on my computers for each of those layers. And now we're ready for number 2. All right, number 2 is to record, synthesize, and edit all your sounds and put them into each folder. So going with our example again, our first folder is skin-to-skin impact sounds. So for that, I would then go and just record a whole bunch of different skin-to-skin impact sounds, whether it's with a flat hand, maybe you want a fist, maybe you want to hit different parts of the body, right? But the idea here is that I would just go and record a whole bunch of these different kind of skin-to-skin impact sounds. Once I have all of those done and recorded, I could then bring them into my computer. I can start editing them, removing a bit of noise, and make sure that they are all split into individual files. All right, and then now I would do this for every single layer so that every single sound, every single folder, so those 7 folders that we had from before, would be filled with different sounds. So I would aim for something like 50 to 100 sounds for each folder. So that means we'd have close to 300 to 700 sound effects. After that, now we're ready for part 3. All right, for step number 3 now, we are going to open our DAW and we are ready to design and layer. All right, for this step, what I would do is I would start importing sounds from each of those folders into my session and just start experimenting and being creative in how I process them and how I layer them together just to make some sort of punch sound effect. So for this part of the process, it's really about just being creative and being open to different ideas and making just a bunch of garbage sounds, but knowing that in the process, you'll also create some happy accidents and you'll get some sounds that you could then use and then save into a new folder that would be your like design folder. So once you go through that process, I would aim to design at least, again, around 50 to 100 sound effects, have 50 to 100 sound effects that are designed that I would put into a new separate folder. Those would be my designed sound effects in my designed folder. Now with that done, now we are ready for step 4. All right, step number 4 now is to assemble our sound effect together and put it to picture or into the game engine. All right, so this process sounds exactly how it is. It'd be to assemble it. So let's say you're doing a demo reel. You might have your clip inside your DAW. So now this step in the sound design process is just to bring in your design layered clips and start layering them together. Start layering them maybe even with some of your raw clips, your recorded sound files, and put them together inside of your DAW. Start processing them, adding EQs, compression, effects, whatever it is that you might want to use, and put those together to picture, to whatever it is that you are designing. So if we're doing some sort of scene from Mortal Kombat, I would start importing sounds together, put in 2 or 3 design sounds, layer them together, cut out certain frequencies that maybe are masking each other, maybe put on track spacer, and then until I get a nice cool sound that I think I'd be really happy with. And that's it. This is kind of the workflow, the process of going through and designing a whole bunch of sounds. Now, the great advantage of going through this process like this that I outlined here is that now you have a whole bunch of folders. For example, in this example, I have 7 folders with a whole bunch of sound effects that I can then pull and bring into my session. So I can create a whole ton of variation if I wanted to, really simply just by dragging and dropping sounds into my DAW like that. So that's the kind of advantage of working this way. It's easy to just create a whole bunch of different kind of sounds. You can get sounds that you've never thought of making before, and then it's easy to just swap out layers and then get new variations. So you're really left with a whole bunch of these sounds that you can then use and choose from based on whatever it is that you're designing. All right, if you're liking what we've talked about so far and you're a sound designer, I have something special for you. I recently did a training on how to create an online presence, build your portfolio, and showcase your work online. So if you want to check it out, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description, but it's absolutely free, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. All right, so that is the workflow. That's the process. And the great thing about it is that once you start doing it and actually putting it into practice, you'll start to realize that you're creating sounds that you never thought you would create before, new sounds that that are just like happy accidents that just happen because you are putting the time and you're setting apart different sessions for just being creative and designing just specific sounds without even any kind of reference to any kind of visual image or the game or anything. You're just putting sounds together and then just experimenting, creating garbage. But out of that will also come happy accidents, and sounds that you've never thought you could create before will start to happen. All right, so if you like this video, I think there's another one that I created that I think you'll also like. It's a video I called 5 Reaper features to help you improve your sound design and workflow. So if you want to see those, I'll make sure to put it in the cards above and or in the description below. So that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching all the way through to the end. If you have any questions, comments, as usual, down below. And that's it for now. I'll see you in the next one.